Hi everybody, wanted to jump on here, start doing some videos, introduce myself, tell you a little bit about my why, and give you some basics about the VA home loan. So some background info on me. My name is Amberly Rouse. I am a realtor with Home Pros Real Estate Group. I've been licensed for the past 2 years and I've been doing it full time. I grew up in South Florida, moved up to Central Florida, and then Michael and I started dating, and since this time at West Point, we've now moved to Lawton, Oklahoma, and now El Paso, Texas, and Fort Bliss. We've been here for the past 4 years, I believe. We've really loved it. We enjoy the city, and now that he's out, we plan to stay here long term. So we both do real estate full time. It's really something we love, and the way that we actually got into it was when we bought our first house. So when we first purchased our home, we were not licensed at the time. Neither one of us really knew any information about the VA loan, any type of loan for that matter, how it worked. Didn't really know too much about anything when it came to buying a home. We just knew that we wanted to stop renting and put our money into something that would turn into an asset for us. So talking a little bit about the process that we went through with our realtor, it was not a bad process. She was great. She did her job. But now knowing what we know about real estate specifically and some more background information being realtors ourselves, we now know that there's a lot more information that she could have told us, especially about the VA loan, knowing that we were VA buyers. So that turned into our why in an interesting way. After purchasing the first home, Michael was the one that got interested in learning some more about real estate, decided to get his license, and then shortly after I decided to get mine. After getting licensed and doing some transactions and working with VA buyers and understanding the actual daily life and the needs and wants of a military service member, it gave us a lot better perspective having done it ourselves and being in those first time buyers' shoes, and knowing how you're feeling, basically not knowing anything at all. So we've taken it upon ourselves. Both of us have gotten licensed. We're both doing it full time now, and our why has really turned into becoming the go-tos for other service members to put your trust in somebody that has been there, has done that, and knows the knowledge of what to do, how to do it, and some of the traps to stay away from, things to not fall into. And we also have a unique perspective because we have been a military family ourselves. We have purchased not knowing anything, and now we're helping other families now that we do know. So we can give you that personal relationship where we know exactly what you're feeling. We know what your thought is, in a year or 2 or 3, what if I PCS? What am I going to do with this house? So those are some things that we help you with, and that we'll explain to you as you're going through the process with us. Some information about the VA loan. It's one of the best types of loans that you can actually get. You do not have to have a down payment. You get better, more favorable interest rates. You do not pay PMI. And some of the myths about it that are false are that you cannot use it more than once. That's absolutely untrue. You can use it multiple times as long as you have the entitlement. We know this for a fact because we've used it multiple times, and we've used it multiple times in the same city. The key factor, though, to using it is you have to have the intent to live in that home. It has to be your primary residence. Some people might say, well, what if I buy the home and then, in 6 months I get orders and I have to go on deployment? What do I do? Can I still buy? Yes, you can still buy. You have the intent to live in it as your primary residence, and don't be afraid of having to PCS or having to deploy. That's something we will help you with getting the home rented out for free. Some of the other benefits of using the VA loan: you're not paying PMI. That's the private mortgage insurance. You would need to pay that if you're using FHA or conventional type loan. without putting 20% down. One of the other benefits is you can usually get in with no money out of pocket or very little money out of pocket. What I mean by this is you're not going to be paying for your closing costs. That's up to us as realtors to be negotiating on your behalf with the listing agent and the seller for you to not have to pay any of that. Luckily in El Paso it is pretty customary for the sellers to pay majority of the closing costs. Some of the things you will encounter though, you do have an earnest money deposit, you do have an option fee, and you do have inspection fees. All of those are at your expense, but the first two are going to be credited to you at closing. In addition to that, your VA loan, as I mentioned before, you can use it more than once. The way that that works is once you have paid off the loan, or you've paid off a portion of it, or you've refinanced it, however it works out, that entitlement is freed up and it's now available to you again. In addition to that, starting January 1st, 2020, there's not going to be any more caps on the limit that you can use. So for example, here in El Paso, our cap is around about $482,000, I believe. And that's the max amount that a lender will give you for a VA loan. If you need to go over that, that turns into something called a jumbo loan, and we'll go over that at a later date, but we're going to keep it simple for now. But starting January 2020, those caps are going to go away. That's only going to be if it's your first time purchasing using the VA loan. Unfortunately for anyone else that's already used it, for your first home, your second home, that cap is not really going to benefit you as much as it would if it's your first time buying. So that's pretty much the basics on the VA loan. Most of the benefits, a couple of myths busted, and then a new, nugget for the future that's approaching very, very quickly. So something to look forward to. But if you guys have any questions, make sure to reach out to me. You can call, text, email me. I'll put my information below. You can also find me on Facebook and LinkedIn. Or you can visit us at our website at pcsfortbliss.com and drop us any questions, comments, hit us up with any information you're curious about. Thanks.